everyone, welcome to another video for SimonsStamp.com. I'm starting out with this stamp set from Pink Persimmon, and I'm using this little deer and then the sentiment that says thanks dear. I've cut out an oval using my silhouette cutting machine, and this oval is 3 inches wide by 3.5 inches tall. And my original thought was I was going to stamp the deer down here and then put the sentiment up here. But then I decided that I didn't like how much space was still around the stamps. So I've adjusted my plan a little bit, and I'm actually turning the oval this direction. I'm going to put the sentiment up there at the top and the deer down at the bottom. And I still have lots of room on the side, so I'm actually going to cut off the sides, but I want them to be straight. So I'm using my grid mat, and that's going to help me get it straight. I'm going to put the oval on and try to get it on there exactly straight. If it's not exactly straight, it doesn't matter. I just want sort of a good idea. Alright, and then I'm going to cut off about right here. So I made a little pencil mark on each end. Alright, so I'm going to take these off, and I'm going to take this to my trimmer, or I could just use a ruler. In fact, I think I'll do that. I'll just go ahead and use a little T-square ruler. I'm going to use a T-square ruler and an X-Acto knife, and I'm just going to cut between those lines, those marks that I made. Alright, and then I'm going to come to the other side, and I'm going to line that up, and hopefully we'll be able to get that completely straight. I'm going to make a couple little tick marks as well. And I'll connect those lines. Alright, so now we have our own label shape that will fit our stamps that we're using. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and think I'll stamp this in some Color Blocks Fluid Chalk ink in charcoal. I'm getting the stamps arranged exactly how I want it. And then I'm going to bring in my compact stamp press, and I'm going to pick that up. It's probably going to bring the paper up with it, but that's okay. Alright. And then stamping that right on that Nina Solar White paper that I've cut out. Alright, got a little splotchy, but that's okay. I kind of like that look of stamped, so I know that it's stamped. This is the Circle Fusion 2 stamp from Impression Obsession, and I'm going to use that with some Versamark ink. And now I'm pressing some watercolor paper onto that stamp. Now, my card isn't going to be square like this. It's actually going to be a standard size card. But because this stamp is 6 inches by 6 inches, I decided to go ahead and use the entire piece of the 6 by 6 watercolor paper, because I can cut off one side and use it on another card. So if you've got a little bit of extra room on your stamp or whatever you're working on, go ahead and do the entire space, and then you can save it for another card. Alright, you can't really see that right now, but we're going to emboss with it using white embossing powder. Now you can see those circles come up. Alright, now I'm going to be using this craft sheet and 3 different colors of Distress ink. I'm using Barn Door, Squeezed Lemonade, and Salty Ocean. I'm using red, yellow, and blue, which are the primary colors. This is going to allow me to mix the colors together and get every color of the rainbow. So I'm going to go ahead and smush this down onto my work surface here. I'm just going to make a palette of all the different colors. Alright. taking my mini mister, which is filled with water, and I'm just going to mist it over the entire surface of my watercolor paper. The paper is going to start to bow up, but that's okay. All right. I'm also going to just give a little spritz into each one of my little pools of ink. I'm going to be picking up these colors with this aquash brush. So I'm going to go ahead and bring some red out here. I'm going to bring out some yellow as well and get kind of that mixed in for some orange. Got a little bit of watercolor paper over here. I'm going to kind of clean off my brush a little bit. Then I'm going to bring these together to make a green. Clean that off a little. Alright, and then I'm going to bring a little bit of this red down here to sort of make a purple. Alright, so now I have all the colors of the rainbow. I'm going to go ahead and start dropping them onto this watercolor paper. So I'm getting some purple here. I'm going to have it come down into the blue. You'll have the blue come up a little bit that way. Then I'm going to come into the green. Get a little bit of that green going in different spots. And then I'm going to pick up the yellow. It looks sort of like a limey green, but I'm okay with that. Alright, and then up into the orange. And then into the red. I'm going to try to mix those colors a little bit. I think I want a little bit more of this purplish blue color down right in here, so I'm going to bring that in. So I have kind of a really fun, kind of almost psychedelic color palette here. I'm going to go ahead and let this dry, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to assemble the card. I'm using some black cardstock for my card base, and I'm just scoring that at 4 1/4, so it'll be a standard size card. Alright, here's my watercolor piece that has dried and I've trimmed it down. I'm going to be adhering that down onto the card just like that. Before I do that, I'm going to round the edges with my 1/2 inch corner rounder on the corner chomper. And like I said before, I have this piece that I can use on something else as well. I wish I could have got that vibrant red in on there, but that's okay. This will be just fine. Alright. Get that from warping. I'm going to adhere this with some foam adhesive. Okay, so originally when I stamped this, I used like a gray ink, and I decided I wanted to matte some black cardstock around it, and it didn't quite match. So I restamped it with some Ranger Archival Jet Black ink, and now I'm going to go around and just trim off the edges. First I'm going to do a rough cut, so it will allow me to cut it out a little bit more precisely. And then I can go around and cut these edges really like as close as possible to the actual curve of that label that we cut. Alright, so now I have that label. I just wanted something to set off that label shape on the card. I'm going to go ahead and put this on some dimensional adhesive, just on some foam squares. Alright, and I'm going to put this right onto the card like that. And then to finish off the card, I'm going to take my white gel pen and do dashed lines around the outside edge. Alright, and there's the card for today. I think this would be really cute if you changed the sentiment to some sort of Christmas sentiment and had it be all red and green. It'd be really, really pretty Christmas card. That deer just makes me think of that. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching.